Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Emily. And we are the Conscious Collaboration Podcast. What up, guys? What up, Lisa, my friend?
Hey, Emily.
How you doing
today?
So good. So good. So we will get right into it. We have been pondering one particular word, and this word has come up in basically every form of sort of energy check-in that we like to do among the two of us, as far as our different card readings and energetic readings, astrology, things of that nature. Lisa just pulled a little I Ching reading before we started recording. And once again, the word and the idea of chaos came up. Also, just in our conversations with our clients and friends and in our own daily interactions, we've been encountering a lot of what people are describing as chaos. People are tired. Things are happening economically and in the job market and in the real estate market and with children and with relationships and people breaking up and people getting into fights. So all kinds of things that could be lumped into that idea of chaos.
It's like so many changes all at once. And
changes. I don't even know that song.
Don't make me sing. Nobody needs that.
Nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. So I consulted the Googles just to get us a couple of working definitions of chaos and a little bit more to sort of talk off of. So the Webster definition of chaos is complete disorder and confusion. Mm-hmm. Now that to me sort of has more the negative connotation to it, but I think it's interesting when you get into the physics working definitions of chaos and how you can start to think of it that way. So in the context of physics, they describe chaos as behavior so unpredictable as to appear random, owing to great sensitivity to small changes in conditions. Another definition under the context of physics is the formless matter supposed to have existed before the creation of the universe. So many things with those two definitions of chaos come to mind because, like I was saying with that first definition, it really just sort of has a negative connotation. And usually if you're just talking to people in conversation, they're not particularly happy about experiencing
don't bring your chaos to the conversation.
Chaos, right? Like, get your chaos out of my life. But I've always sort of liked the phrases both thriving in chaos and organized chaos. They sort of take a different perspective on that idea of chaos. And so, like with this definition of chaos being the formless matter supposed to have existed before the creation of the universe, what that says is that it's literally the most natural just state of being is chaos, disorganized form, if you will. And then that other definition, talking about how the random appearance of the behavior of something is owing to its great sensitivity to small changes in conditions. So changes in condition are also the natural state of being, right? Change is the one constant. So a sensitivity to change, being that idea of chaos, really has to do with like your perception of and need for, or perceived need for control over situations in life. And that, I guess, hypersensitivity to change is, to me, what would lead one to believe that chaos is always a negative thing. But what I'm really seeing is that chaos is just energy, the natural state of being of energy. And we can, in fact, harness it to our benefit and thrive in that state of being.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we hear a lot in everyday conversation where people don't even know how to put into word the confusion they feel when things are changing all around them. So you'll hear people like my mom always says, and I don't know if you hear this from your mom too, if it's like a generational thing, but if she doesn't understand something, she'll say, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I'm like, well, it's not really crazy. It's the way things are. But it is her sensitivity that she realizes something is brewing. So, the hexagram that we were talking about when we pull the I Ching is of revolution. So revolution has a positive connotation to us, right? Like I like the songs. I like the songs about revolution, and it's change for a positive cause, and in many ways. So the imagery is lake above and fire below. So it talks about that like bubbling up from under the water. And that's like an alchemy. So when we have sensitivities and as humans, we can sense when there's something stirring, something's around the corner, there's a change that's brewing. And just like animals, when the hurricane was coming towards us, where did all the animals go? They knew something was coming. All the birds left, and other animals went under the ground. So it's in our primal instincts to want to protect from a storm that's brewing or chaos. But as you were saying, there can't always be it can't always be what's to be expected all the time. In fact, that probably isn't desirable either, to have that status quo all the time, the same things day in and day out, very complacent. And that can feel very imprisoning when you feel that Groundhog's Day to life. And in that sense, too, I love what you're saying about thriving in chaos and harnessing that energy for empowerment purposes. And that's something that we can do in our daily lives and in our businesses, too, in learning how to work with that excitement in a way that's positive rather than anxiously retaliating against it.
Oh, yeah. That's like going with the flow. I think and I want to be careful how I say this, but I think one big step towards being a person who can thrive in chaos is anticipating chaos. And I don't mean in a way that has you preemptively reacting and, sabotaging relationships and situations because you're used to being, that's more like a trauma response where you're used to being in a chaotic environment or a dramatic environment. So you're sort of attracting it with your different behaviors. And that's not what I mean. But I just mean like anticipating the unexpected, expecting the unexpected, and, knowing that there's going to be a lot throughout life that you're not going to expect and that you're not going to have control over. But one thing I know is that if you're mentally prepared for that and you're in a situation where everybody's freaking out and you're not freaking out, you're automatically 1,000 steps ahead of anybody else in that situation. And as long as you can manage to not get caught up in others' sensitivity to that change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still like, it's important to have the sensitivity, like all things are brewing, things are changing. But like you're saying too, and I like some of the words that I read in the I Ching about this, is when you're sensing chaos is brewing, to have the courage to radically change, and
Go
bring a
with the
renewal
flow.
with the flow. Yeah, you're going
Don't
to
fight
radically
it.
change and be empowered in the moment versus being swept under the water.
And I think a lot of it too is sort of being able to rise above the situation as an observer and being able to look at and name what's happening, and name any feelings that you may be having about it. But if you're looking at it from above the fray, from above the water as an observer, that leaves you way less vulnerable to sort of drown under the water or get mixed up in the fray, in the chaos, and lose track.
Yeah, it feels like, and we talked about at the beginning of this whole conversation, is chaos. It feels like it's a detriment. It's something that's going to set us back, when really it's more of an agitator to bring you forward or to evolve in a different way. It's unleashing really something that's underlying that you may have been working on, in a way to regain control.
Yeah, you can very much look at it as an opportunity a lot of the times. If you seek out, okay, what is it that I'm being asked to do or look at or shift here?
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh my God, like what the hell? I can't handle it. And then, you're sort of just writing your own will there.
Yeah.
And succumbing to the chaos instead of thriving in it. Whereas if you can rise above it and look at it and name it and sort through the emotions that you're having and remain calm in the face of others being all anxious about it, then you'll move through to a place where you're not only surviving, but thriving.
Move through or move around, changing your course. I think we talked about there's a way to rewrite the chaos. So really being disruptive, it's an opportunity to be disruptive in a good way. So rather than shrinking, it's more like, here's like, I see your chaos you're bringing, and here's my chaos and the revolution that's going to happen. So it's really being assertive and recognizing that you're steering your own ship here, charting a different course around any obstacles.
For sure. What can you think of on a day-to-day basis, maybe from a feng shui perspective, that would help people be more prepared to naturally thrive in chaos?
Oh, well, I mean, the first and the most obvious that comes to mind that we always talk about is bringing order to chaos, is decluttering.
Right. Yeah. Like literally.
I think I think a lot of the underlying basis for becoming a hoarder is trying to protect yourself from chaos and create like a cave.
And then you end up creating chaos.
Right. That you don't ultimately.
Just things all around you.
Yeah. So, I mean, really just letting go of things that were probably once very comfortable and declutter to make room for that abundance that's around the corner. Because, like we were talking about, the hexagram symbol for revolution and this chaos that we're talking about is only one line different from abundance, and great abundance at that too. It's very similar. So if you're experiencing chaos and a great change, it's only one energetic line different from abundance coming in. So just
could that be looked at as like they have similar energetic frequencies?
I feel, yeah. I mean, we talk about, the revolution, the great revolutions that we've seen in history. Can you think of any, by the way, while I'm talking? Like the greatest revolutions that we've experienced, they've been, I mean, if you think about the Industrial Revolution and the great abundance that came right after that, but now there's different types of revolutions that are coming. And I think one of them is people, rather than looking externally at, I mean, talking about the idea of industry and the importance of keeping momentum going and working and keeping the gears going, but creating the machinery and all of the things that come from that. That's really important. But another revolution on top of that we might be seeing more of today is more of that internal game and the mindset, and our businesses and our relationships are a result of our inner game and where that is. So feng shui internally has a relationship as well as externally. So in that regard, even just taking 27 objects, for example, from the heart of your home or your business at the center, that is the center, the energetic center of holistic health and wellness, and that like hub of all of the energies. So looking at that center area and just taking even 27 objects, I chose 27 because it's a great energetic number, adding up to 9, it's a multiple. So changing just maybe you need to, if you find like a pile of letters or mail, it needs to be, you can sort through it, you can look at it, even if it's photographs, digitize it, get rid of that space that it was taking up, and allow and welcome in new space to that area with the intention that you're really going to harness the ability of your inner game.
Nice. I think from the physical and mind body perspective, like really paying attention to your breathing, to your breath work practice becomes super important in this idea of thriving in chaos. And even paying attention to a bodily phenomenon called proprioception. It's something we talk about in the fascia geeky world a lot because the fascia contains a ton of proprioceptors, but it basically has to do with your body awareness, the awareness of your body's position in space. And one of my great teachers would always say, a body that is unaware of its position in space is a brain that's in the sympathetic nervous system. So that fight or flight mode, where it's hard to sort of get things straight. So really using those tactics of breath work and meditation can help you to really maintain that calm in chaos. And of course, moving your physical body and just moving energy through and out of rather than allowing it to stagnate within the body. And the breath work can help with that as well. And then I'm going to take it in a little bit different direction too. I'm just thinking about sort of how I manage it in my own life. And I think I told you off air that I had a planner. I actually purchased a planner at one point in my life. But I liked it because I used it for about 2 weeks. But I liked it because it said organized chaos on the front of it. And
that's like
that was
that's your nickname.
It is. It really is. Like that's my middle name at least. But I feel like, although I've had certain people who might get close to me in my life and criticize the way that I organize, the way that I plan things, because on paper it might look to someone else with a different organizational style like chaos. Like, what the hell is this bitch writing?
It's like insulting to some people, for sure.
Yeah. Why don't you do it like this, and the color coding and everything else? And but to me, I could look at it, even the way I did like notes and studying in nursing school, I could look at it and it would make sense to me. So in that way, it was kind of like organized chaos. But where I was going with that is that I think while you should not be a rigid planner, because that's where you will go down the line of not being able to handle that perceived loss of control, that, any veering away from the plan. You should not be that rigid planner, but to have a few threads of structure within, like if you want to kind of look at it like a spine, a few things that do work upon a schedule or upon a structure of sorts that makes sense to you also helps to keep you centered and aligned, to keep that cool and calm during the times of chaos. Because there are, and it's something, it could just be something as little as what time you have your coffee, or what time you eat your meals every day, or, just anything that keeps you on a basic skeleton of a schedule within all the change helps to keep that some sense of control over things.
I like that.
Even if you're not a scheduler and a planner and everything else, something that looks like a schedule or a plan or a structure to you, just to kind of hold that skeleton together down the middle like a spine.
Yeah, I like that. I like also, I was thinking about the beauty in chaos is that the chaos is a creative energy. And it's stirring and it's mixing. And I was thinking about you and how you take notes. And I've seen you take notes before, like when we have our podcast meetings. And there is this, and I think I take notes similarly in some ways is, some people don't structure their notes in a line or a list sort of format, but rather draw or, pictures next to their notes, or underline things differently, or not even write them in a straight line. But then to be able to come back and look over top of all the chaos, right, of your notes and see the similarities and all the lines that sync things together can be very effective. And being able to, if someone's working style, for example, in that way is annoying to you, and that's, irritating, that type of chaos might actually be beneficial to really observe. And, there's something that can be learned from something that irritates us in a very positive way. Yeah, I like the idea of responding to chaos in like an opportunistic way. Like, oh, good, chaos is being served. What's next? And one thing that we talk a lot about in feng shui too is the idea of fire energy and that fame and reputation. Like, how are we exuding our energy to the world? How is our energy being received? How do people perceive us? And it's a real opportunity during a time of chaos to recreate yourself in a way that's disruptive and better received. And cultivating that fire energy in your home environment or your workplace environment can be done really beautifully with intention and very easily fire energy is easy to recognize. Like, I'm wearing red today, like that's fire energy. So if you're feeling like you might be shrinking in the face of adversity or chaos, to the idea of you being aware of the space that your body is taking up in the world, maybe perhaps wear red, wear fire energy, and project a stronger, more, in your face, kind of like disruptive energy to the world that energetically will help you as a person to have that confidence. Because it takes a great courage to stand up in the face of chaos when everybody else is, kind of like sniffing out, like out of fear.
Yeah. Well, and I think it can do a great service to others too, when you can manage to harness that energy and find a way to thrive and disrupt and create in chaos, because others see that and have hope that they can do the same.
Yeah. That's that's a good opportunity for people to find their people.
You can be a hero.
You can be a hero, people. Yeah. When everyone else is being a fill in the blank, you can be a unicorn.
A little blank. I can't even say what what came to my mind.
Everyone filled in their own blank.
Fill in your blank.
Mad Libs.
Bonus points if you can guess what was in my brain.
I might know.
If you know, you know.
A little game.
IYKYK. Chaos brain.
I
think maybe as air signs, we're like a little more comfortable in chaos by nature, because that's just how our brains are. I think we've talked about this before. Like, I look at those fucking terrible, annoying toys for like toddlers that they push like a vacuum, but it's the little bubble, bubble, like the little balls inside, and they pop, pop.
Yes.
I feel like that is kind of what my brain's like. And a lot of those thoughts are just like artifact. But if you can like reach out and like catch the good balls, then you can find some pretty useful stuff.
Yeah.
There's all the chaos and the popping.
That's like very much linked with what you're just saying. Is very much linked with the language of the I Ching when we're talking about great abundance. So like it talks about finding a balance though. So being that overly creative, that can be very attractive. But at the same time, it can allow you to drift aimlessly. So if you keep on popping off all this creativity, you're lacking the action to put behind it to see things through. And that's why it's important to have a friend like me or a collaborator or someone that knows you to like recognize the things that are actionable. And, it's like flashy. Let's act on that. That's a good idea. That's going to be effective and put some embodiment and action behind it. But the world needs the chaos and the overly creative, and the
world is the chaos.
The world
there is no separation. It literally is the natural state of being.
Yeah. I like it. I think we're on something. No.
Bring on the chaos.
Yeah. I think we need more creativity plus chaos.
Yes.
We've got some good ideas, you and I, brewing behind the scenes that I can't wait to like talk about more openly, but until we get those ideas all fine-tuned, a lot of fine-tuning needs to happen from chaos before you can really kind of dish it out so that people can receive it. But I think that would be my advice too for anyone in business, whether it be entrepreneur or within the corporate world too, is to find your alliances with people that are going to allow you to bring your chaos to the table, be disruptive in a time of world chaos, and reinvent
Yes.
your approach, what you're bringing to the table. And really, I think that's very inspiring. And that's where leaders can emerge too, say something crazy at your work meeting.
Well, I mean, because in the times of the most chaos, I mean, most people are looking around for somebody to step up and be that leader and to have the good ideas and to not be afraid to try stuff that hasn't been tried. Well, everything's been tried before, but to chart uncharted waters, uncharted waters or lands,
uncharted waters. Yeah,
stuff.
For sure.
Stuff.
I mean, I think it can be brought to mind in any situation. Like, I was talking to a friend who was talking about being in a PTA meeting that was like sucking the life out of her. And, the amount of attention that people were clinging to the way things that were always done. We do these spreadsheets. This is how it's done. This is how we drum up money for the school, like all this effort for these money raising activities. When you really think, in this PTA example, which probably all PTA organizations were generated for a very good reason to help bring resources to education and school and the children. But what monsters they have become, because when you get down to it, does anyone ever even buy from these PTA activities? Or ultimately, is it really just us parents that are writing the checks in the end? Like, why not just write the check and just call it a day and save everybody a lot of time and maybe have a party? But and she had this like inner urge, like couldn't, was a leader in this group, and just spoke her mind. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, be that person that's the change agent and stand up and question things when things are feeling chaotic. Like, hey guys, are we just doing something just because it's always been done? This is like SOP. Because like you and I were talking about, it's that like Stepford vibes energy, the Groundhog's Day energy that ultimately makes you feel like you're dying.
Well, and something you read said that when you fall into too much order and too much structure, that actually primes the energy for like greater chaos, right?
Yeah. Either way. So like either too forced of an order, too structured, can create an emptiness, but then not having any structure, you're just drifting. So it's really just being accepting again of one side and the other. I think so many people are hung up in being right. This is the right way. I'm doing it the right way. Rather than merging the two perceptions.
Organized chaos.
Ta-da!
Yes. I love it.
I like it.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from all our peeps about if they've been experiencing chaos in their world. Is it affecting them? How are you handling it? Do you feel like you're prepared to thrive in the state of chaos? Or do you feel overwhelmed and ready to make some changes to how you handle it?
Yeah, I hope anybody out there listening to us today, I hope this is resonating with them on some level, and they're perhaps feeling a little bit more empowered about how they're walking out into the world, and maybe they try a few of the tips that we were talking about, because it's a great opportunity to show up and be more of a leader and feel a little bit more excited about just every day-to-day life. Really, like I think you said before, like embracing that change or harnessing the power of the change. So if you aren't with us already in the Conscious Collaboration Collective, on Facebook. We would love to have you. You can find us there. And if you want to connect with us and send us your comments, let us know if this resonates. You can find us on Instagram at, is it
Conscious Collaboration Podcast?
And let's have more conversation about this. I think it is great building upon moving out those prosperity blocks and really being the change.
Let's talk about chaos, baby.
All right, Emily. Well, it's fun hanging out with you today.
Always.
I look forward to seeing you soon. And everybody out there, will talk to you in 5.
Talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.